Welcome. We're here today with Pete Crear, retiring CEO of the World Council of Credit Unions. How are you doing today?
I am doing great, Sarah.
Do you have a countdown going yet?
I do.
How many days left?
I do. I'm not going to give you days.
Oh,
Yeah, but I got to. Well, you know, there's apps, all kind of iPhone apps, and there's a countdown iPhone app, and I've got one. and you know, when I'm sitting and not doing anything, I kind of click it on, and go, oh yeah, closer, a little closer now.
And your wife too, Carl.
Yeah. She's been saving this list for, for too long. Yeah, so.
Big honeydew list coming up?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Just glimpses of it make me want to run off and join the circus.
Now, is this going to be a real retirement? Because I know you retired from CUNA before, and I know you folks from Wisconsin have a problem with retiring. Is this a real retirement?
Well, it is a real retirement, for sure. And I know you're referring to Brett Favre and me, because I've done this before also. But this time I'm for sure, for a couple of reasons. One is that Mrs. Crear says I am retiring. And you know, if Brett Favre had called her, he would have retired the first time also. And secondly, I know I'm retiring because I have just had enough travel. Just thinking of not having to go to the airport again anytime soon is very encouraging to me.
Well, and you have one more big trip left coming up.
Yeah. Scotland's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to have a big party. It's our 40th anniversary, as you know. So we're going to have a big party for that and a big party for my retirement. And so hopefully everybody will get there. Mike Buckian works with me, tells me there's going to be cake.
I am so sorry I'm missing that.
I knew that.
Worth the tickets in Scotland, right?
So 1,600 people
Wow.
are going to show up in Scotland.
For your retirement?
Yeah, for my retirement. Yeah. And I tell people that's more than Oprah got. Just so you know it. Let's put this in perspective.
Absolutely. So what are you going to do with your free time?
Believe it or not, in my free time, I'm going to make a plan. Because I don't have a plan at this point, other than to do nothing.
Well, that sounds like a plan to me.
Nothing. Now, that won't last very long, but certainly I think that if left to my own devices, I won't sneak out and play golf. I'll just say I'm going to play golf. Bye. And that'll fill a considerable amount of my time. and I would really like to see my house in daylight for once. I'm going home tonight, and my flight leaves here at 4:30. I get home at 11 p.m. tonight. So seeing the place in daylight is a real challenge sometimes.
You might notice the weeds in the garden there.
Yeah. I could do that.
That's a problem. So you've been in credit unions for, let's just say, decades.
Yes, a very long time. And
what have been the biggest changes and the most exciting, interesting times for you?
Oh gosh, there's just been, every time I decide that, something else comes along and I redecide it again, if you will. But there's been just so many changes, so many things that have been just good, just great. I came into this business when everything was done by hand, if that tells you something. And we thought that, gosh, having a post-tronic machine that could read the stripe on the back of a ledger card was exciting stuff. Man, that was a big leap forward in technology. And some of these credit unions were large enough that they would put these things in these big bins, and obviously the sellers of the equipment will sell you a bin, and it would be the length of this table. And they'd stack all the ledger cards in, and they'd turn the machine on and leave it on all night and all day, because sometimes it would take as much as 3 days to run all the balances. But each one of those cards would be read, and the balance would be spit out and printed. And then the next week we would sit around and try to balance those. But boy, that was a big leap forward. An enormous leap forward. And then of course the processing came along and changed all of that. But it was, I look at it today and think, boy, how easy this stuff is in contrast to
You can apply for loans online and automatically balanced.
Just easy stuff. There's a commercial that's on, and it's a couple guys sitting around a machine and they're talking about all they can do with this great machine they got. And one guy says, "Oh, look, an elder." And a guy walks up and he's about 27 years old, and he says, "You're all soft." This is a guy obviously who's familiar with floppy disk, but that's the era in which I've come from, and that's just in the automated side of the business. The other side is the regulatory piece. I was with my chairman this weekend, Barry Gillette, and Barry and I were kind of reminiscing, talking about the old BFCU, the old Bureau of Federal Credit Unions, that he came from, the predecessor of NCUA, and their operations, and their operations today don't look anything like the old Bureau's operation of the 60s and 70s. So a lot of things have changed, and changed for the better, to be perfectly honest. I really like this new form of volunteering we're getting. A lot more energy, a lot more interesting in terms of the dimensions that they bring. So exciting times, I think, for me, and exciting times for credit unions. And I hope credit unions always continue to change, because I think standing still is just waiting for a train wreck.